Hello viewers, it's Ultimate Spy 53 here, and welcome to Reviewed number 41. And I have my mum with me as a special guest this week,
Hi.
and we are going to be reviewing Doctor Who: The Day of the Doctor, the 50th anniversary special. Of the 50th.
Well, I love the 50th. I love it, and I sometimes have a lack of patience with it at the same time. So especially this time through, I was taking it apart a little bit.
Yeah.
It was like the much anticipated episode when we went to see it in the cinema event.
Right.
And we were the first ones in the theater. There was one other guy in there that was there before we were, and we were pretty psyched about it.
the plot of it. What was the plot in your opinion? How would you summarize the plot?
10 proposes to the Queen of England to prove she's not a Zygon, and then some kind of a swirly vortex thing opens up, and a Fez comes through it, and then 10 and 11 try to convince 8 not to blow up the world.
More.
Well,
Well,
8.
Eight
All
and
right,
a- eight and a half.
8.5.
8.5.
Right. Try to convince him not to blow up the world. And Rose Tyler looking,
Like
a Rose Tyler looking creature tries to convince him to save Gallifrey.
So basically, in my opinion of the plot, I'd say it's another multi-Doctor story, celebrating 50 years, 1963 to 2013. It's basically, they were actually, I'd say that it's about, the 11th Doctor encountering the 10th Doctor through a wormhole thing, and finding out that Gallifrey's in trouble, like, that Gallifrey fell, and they found out this mysterious past Doctor that they didn't know about. Like,
Well, they knew about him.
It's the one that Levin was like, he's the one I would talk about.
And then he says, I tried to forget him, but he didn't really forget him.
Yeah, of course.
He didn't really forget him.
And it's really great casting. We have Matt Smith as the 11th Doctor. David Tennant is back as the 10th Doctor.
Yay.
John Hurt plays the War Doctor, who's
That was
basically
cool.
this mysterious past Doctor in between the 8th Doctor and the 9th Doctor.
Mhm.
We didn't really know about, because
Because
that's
Stephen
why
Moffat hadn't invented
that's
him yet,
why that's one of the reasons why I didn't like this episode. I mean, there's some cons, like not bringing 9 back. They had negotiations about like having Christopher Eccleston come back, but he's like,
That would have been
Let me
really
think
fun.
about that one. Yeah, I'm not going back. It's like,
It would have been fun if he did.
I think it was had to do with Series 1. He was filming Series 1. That probably got him to just say, no, I'm not coming back.
I don't know. I think there's stuff we don't know about that.
So, and the reason why that's also the reason why they cut War's regeneration short. We didn't see his face. We didn't
Right.
see the face because he was like, we didn't want to like,
Well, until a fan went and put it back in.
yeah.
There's a
course.
YouTube of that. But you
So-
can see that.
What do you like about the 50th?
David Tennant. I like that about the 50th. Anytime I get to see David Tennant, I'm really happy. Unless he's like being, what's his name? Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
Kilgrave. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gross.
even though it's David Tennant, I can't watch that.
So, like,
But
in
yeah, okay.
terms
So
of,
I like
like,
that. They had a
the
lot of little.
story, the TARDISes, the
Well,
characters.
and they had some kind of fun homages to the old show,
Yeah.
and the round things, and there were
Yeah.
a few lines. Oh, when he says it's good to know my future is in good hands.
That
and I
was
think
from
that was a line
one,
from
one.
From one to, it must have been one of the multi-doctor ones, one of the first ones. It's
I
good
think
to know
it
my
was
future
the
is in good hands.
three doctors.
The three doctors.
I want to say that.
Yeah.
I never saw the 5 Doctors, but I have seen the.
I've seen the 5 Doctors.
I've seen the 3 Doctors, and that was. I mean, the only thing about this episode that there's many things. I mean, for example, Tennant. I mean, bringing him back was amazing, but also the fact that they got him wrong. I mean, in terms of how he looks. I mean, he doesn't put his hair to this like that. He's all spiky and everything. I didn't.
Why can't he have just, like, styled his hair a little bit differently for Queen Elizabeth I? I mean, what? It's like you don't like it when they change their clothes either. You think
Because
they
you
should
look at-
wear
you look
the
at-
same thing
You
all
look at
the
the
time,
Tenet
like
series,
Superman.
and then you see him with that, and then here comes the 50th anniversary, and it's like I'm gonna pop my hair a little ways.
Now, see, those weren't the kinds of things that bugged me. Those weren't the kinds of things that bugged me. I mean, what I liked about the show was I always liked the acting. I always liked the interplay. They have really good people. I find Matt Smith so appealing as the Doctor, and he really grew on me.
Of course.
But and so I enjoy the interactions. It was fun to have Billie Piper back.
Although that's the one thing I was so disappointed. I mean, everyone.
You wanted her to really
everyone.
be Rose.
It wasn't that just me. It was everyone. Every fan of Doctor Who was watching the episode was like,
I kind of did.
it's
too.
like, oh my god, we're gonna have to see 10 and Rose meet 11 and Clara. Oh, we just get this creature that just happens to possess the form of Rose. It's like, come on.
And she was a little creepy. She was a little bit like this, I don't know, this sort of sexy thing that was like, I'm Bad Wolf.
I did like them. I thought the encounter between 10 and 11 was hilarious.
That was really fun.
When
When they're comparing the screwdrivers.
Well, it starts
That
when
was-
he takes
that
the
was
fez
great.
off, and then they start talking, and then it's like and then they have it, and then he's like, and then like 10, he's like, your screwdriver is better than mine.
Yeah, that
He's
was
trying
cute.
to like compare. And it's
That
like,
was very cute.
and then he's like mad. He's like, you got a better screwdriver than me. That's not fair.
Well, and I like, is it Colonel Lethbridge Stewart, or the Brigadier, but what's her name?
Kids do it.
Kate Stewart, right, but what's her position? What's her, like...
She basically takes.
No, but I mean her rank. Is she a lieutenant or a...
I don't think she has a rank.
She's got a rank. I'm sure she's got a rank.
I don't remember anything like that.
Oh, you're going to have to look it up.
I imagine she might have a rank, but I don't think it was ever mentioned.
You still
in
have
the show.
sparkly things on your
I'm
forehead.
sorry.
Yeah.
But anyway,
From the girlfriend.
but yeah, I mean, also one thing that I didn't like about the episode was when we first see Tim's TARDIS, I mean, kind of like with the Doctor's Wife episode from Series 6 where they
Mhm.
brought back the TARDIS because they had it in storage and they didn't tell anybody about it, but for the 50th, they're like, oh yeah, that old set's taken down and we don't use it anymore. It's like, well, we have 50th coming up, we might as well make a new set. And it's like, okay, let's look at the blueprints. Okay, let's make it again. And yeah, it looks about the same, but they left out some key components. Like, it doesn't look exactly like components. Yeah, I think the lighting was a bit different. I think the console lit up it has a different color. I think it was green in the
See,
original
I
show.
didn't even notice stuff like that. Green. I guess it was green.
Green, and then you had I think the ladder's missing. The access ramp is not like it's supposed to be slanted. I noticed
and
details.
the ramp. You and
I
that
need to-
ramp.
I can't help it.
You think the ramp is the coolest thing about Ten's TARDIS.
Yes.
You love Ten's TARDIS because
I
of
fell in love with
ramp.
that thing. It's just
And
so
because
cool.
of the coat rack he never uses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do imagine
That's
that.
what you love.
But honestly, the doll's too. I mean, my only complaint is the fact that when they redesigned it for the 50th, they changed some things. Like the ramp is supposed to be kind of like that, and it's just like that. It's like, what's the point of having a ramp if it's? I mean, there is a point because it's like an access ramp, but like, it's supposed to be.
So you
that.
you spent significant moments of this show
No,
thinking and being distressed
for the-
over
for the episode.
angle of the ramp.
they just changed some things that I didn't really like.
I'm just saying.
And it just feels like the TARDIS for 10 doesn't feel. I mean, it's the same TARDIS, but like it's where they slowly changed some stuff. I mean, I just didn't like it as much.
Well, you want me to tell you what my complaints then?
What?
I was very distracted by believability issues.
Mhm.
There was so much in there that was not believable,
Oh,
and
yeah.
and where I just, I could kind of like, it felt like Stephen Moffat was on a deadline. He had to get this thing done. Everybody's waiting for it. It's got to
Yeah.
have all this stuff in it that, is going to, it's going to make the true fans say, "Aha!" And I felt like, well, number one, I felt like there were two stories.
The Zygons.
Then they
and
were
that
shoved
was just,
together.
Like, shoved, it's like,
I kind of
there's not really a point having the Zygons.
I
in
didn't
there
know what the point was of having the Zygons except to make it 75 minutes
and
long.
make it look kind of creepy.
Yeah, because there's absolutely no, what is that? I
What
suppose
are they
it's,
there for?
well, they're there. Okay, so there's certain things that he's trying to get in order to make a point, but it was really heavy-handed. So okay, so the point that he wants to make in terms of his story structure is the war doctor has this decision to make, and he needs
Yep.
these things coming in his face all the time about there are consequences to a decision to destroy a civilization or a
Exactly.
planet or whatever.
Yeah,
They're
of
going to
course.
do these consequences. And so what does he need? Okay, well, I've got to have a parallel. I've got to have something that's going to put it in his face. How about if somebody is thinking about destroying London for some reason? Then he would
because they
be
can.
there seeing someone thinking about destroying London. Okay, well, so like, well, they already nearly did that with, well, it was Cardiff, right? With Eccleston, with those creatures with the
Slitheen.
with the Slitheen, right.
Yeah.
They had like a nuclear something or other
Yeah,
underneath
back in Series
Cardiff,
1,
right?
yeah.
Okay, so they had that sort of setup. Okay, well, this time, got to have some way for the Doctor to be confronted with somebody thinking about destroying London, and where he has to jump in at the last minute and say, "Oh no, don't destroy it. You would kill millions of people." Oh, hey, killing millions of people. That's sort of familiar to me because I have a decision to make about killing billions of people. And so I'm glad you brought that up. So
Yeah.
it was kind of like, all right. So then backing up from there, I mean, I can see the wheels turning in his head, right? In Moffat's head.
Yep.
Backing up from there, he's saying, all right, what kind of a situation would make them need to destroy London? What if? And what creatures can I bring in? What creatures can I bring in
A
that we
classic
haven't seen in a
monster
long time?
from the
We
an
can
old
bring in a
era.
classic monster. That's right. What have we not seen since the reboot? Oh,
Since I think they debuted in 3's era. I want to say
right. Okay.
It's a long
well,
time,
No,
so-
no. But I mean, they haven't seen it since
Terror
the
of the
reboot.
Zygons.
There haven't been any Zygons since the reboot.
Yeah.
Right. And so he's like, I'm going to bring back the Zygons. So then the Zygons are sort of plunked in there.
It's like, oh yeah, I'm a Zygon. What's up? It's like
So yeah,
Um,
it just
there's not really there's no reason to have them. They're just there. They're
there
just like
because of the point was make a decision about whether or not to destroy Gallifrey, and then you have these Zygons. I don't know. So all right. So then they've got the Zygons, and okay. Oh, and then the whole Queen Elizabeth I thing. Okay. So 10 is going to propose marriage to her
that was weird.
in order to figure out whether or not she's a Zygon. I mean, come on. Aren't there like a lot of different ways that he could do that,
That was
besides
just
proposing to her?
weird. Like,
But
oh.
he has to propose to her because why? Well, because Tennant in the last, in his last
His,
thing with the Ood,
Yeah.
right, when he takes off in the TARDIS because he's told he's gonna die, and then he comes back and he's got his lay, and he's like, I got married. Oh, that was a mistake.
And then fast forward to this episode. it's
Right,
like,
and then we
well,
have the thing about, and he says he married Queen Elizabeth, right? He says that.
Mhm.
So, we've got to bring that in because it ties that loose end up. Okay, so why would he
Yeah.
mistakenly get married to Queen Elizabeth?
Just
And I have to have
just tying
Zygons.
all these loose ends up.
Yes!
I mean,
it's not believable.
there was just so much in the episode that could have been better. That could have been so much better. Like having a reason for the Zygons, having the reason for everything in it. I mean, the whole reason what was, you know, Gallifrey could be back, and
There was a reason, but it wasn't a
they needed to
believable
save
reason.
everyone, and you know they bring back 10, and they bring a a different doctor, like a doctor from the past, and it's a very interesting. I mean, it wasn't a bad story. It wasn't. It was a bit
okay.
weak. It was like
It was pretty weak all the way
it
around.
was. They
It
just
was like
like
he was
to cram
trying to
everything in
he
there.
was trying to patch together all of these different elements, and I think that it was done really sloppily.
There was some humor. There was some great humor in there. Lots of laughs in there. I did enjoy
Oh
it.
yeah, there was some great humor, and I mean it's
The
because
chemistry
you've got,
between
you've
10 and
got-
11, that was
yes,
fantastic.
and you've got wonderful actors. So, but okay, so here's another thing. Go analyze the stone dust. Okay, and so what did they discover? They discovered that the stone dust isn't the same as the floor, and that's because
That
someone's
was
been
just-
blowing up statues, and someone's been blowing up statues because why? They needed a place to hide? What?
I'm just
What?
like, what kind of writing is that?
This is contrived writing, is what it is.
I mean, I did
Give me a break.
I did think that I mean, this is coming back to the 50th of Doctor Who, was where we have 10 for the first time inspecting the TARDIS. Like, he goes into his TARDIS, and then it changes to Worf's TARDIS. That was pretty good. When it's like, it's the round things. It's like, I love the
that.
round things.
I did love
It's
that.
like, what are the round things? No idea.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have 10 reacting to 11's new TARDIS, and he's like, oh, you redecorated. I don't like it. And that's actually a homage to the Three Doctors when 2 is expecting 3's TARDIS. He's like, oh, I see you've seized the TARDIS out of it. I didn't like it.
I don't like it. Yes,
It's the same line, said in a different way, said in a different tone.
I think I remember
That was pretty good. I mean, his face, just like, he's
It
like,
was-
ugh.
I mean, well, that's the thing. It was an episode that was designed for kind of one-liners for the fans
Yeah.
and references to the little in-jokes for the fans. You know, like the scarf. So,
Yeah.
What's her name?
What's
her name?
Petronella Osgood.
Yeah, Osgood's scarf is like
The Fourth Doctor.
the Fourth Doctor scarf, right? So it's fun to have all those references, but I think that it's a really thrown together story.
It was okay, but
Well,
it
yeah,
just.
it was okay.
I was disappointed. It was. I was so disappointed having a big bash 50th anniversary special, and it turns out to just be this pile of, not pile of trash, but pile of like meshed up stuff. It's like, okay, this should go in here. This should go in here. For example, like when I was so looking forward to seeing Rose come back, and all it was this bad wolf in the form of Rose Taylor. It's like, and plus her costume was just. I didn't like her costume. Her hairstyle was weird.
I kind of liked the costume.
It was a bit weird.
I think she was kind of cool with it. You know.
I did like the War Doctor. He was a very fascinating character. I thought it was really fascinating. Especially his screwdriver. His costume, maybe between 8 and 9.
Mhm.
His screwdriver was very different from everyone else's. I love the line, same stuff but different case.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was really nice. But
And that it's doing the
I
calculations.
I
for
love
hundreds of
the
years.
fact that they have a where the 12 Doctors because of course they can only show the 3 of them actually acting, and the rest of them are just shown through archive footage. We have all
Yeah.
the Doctors. That was amazing, and having like 9 of the next trick.
Yeah,
Remember that one?
that was fun. Oh
9
yeah,
is like, oh, my next trick.
oh yeah, when they're
because
all
he
going
doesn't
to go
really
in
want to come back.
and help relocate Gallifrey.
And then we have I think I lost count. All 12 of them. No, sir. All 13.
That was
And then we have Peter Capaldi going.
we have the eyes of Peter Capaldi.
Tack eyebrows. That was funny.
That was really fun.
That was just a great cameo right there. Just like
Yeah.
seeing him like that. But I mean, there was so much great references to 50 years of Doctor Who. We have Tom Baker coming back. Well, not coming back as the 4th Doctor, but coming back as a curator. Old
That
man
was a
guy.
really fun surprise.
That was like wow.
I liked
when I
that
first
surprise.
saw it on the television when I was seeing it for the first time broadcast, I'm like,
on the television.
oh my gosh, it's Tom Baker.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. But honestly, I mean, the good stuff about it was, you know, multi-Doctor story. We get to see all time we come back. We get to see all these like, you know, references, and we honestly it's some great, you know, Gallifrey and stuff. It's just amazing. You know, seeing the chemistry between 10 and 11, because they had never met before.
Mm-hmm.
We get to see Clara meeting 10. Everything about that was great, but honestly, the weakest stuff was just inserting a whole bunch of just nonsense, like Zygons.
Well, I'll tell you one other thing that I thought was a kind of a major issue for me was I really did not understand why he felt that he needed to destroy Gallifrey.
Yeah.
And it was, and you know, 11 says,
and that's kind of a mystery to me, like,
no,
why would you destroy your own planet, or your race?
Right,
why?
no, I mean, it's been referred to through, you know,
like,
from Eccleston on, it's been referred
the
to.
Doctor's wife, like when House says, I've killed Femi, I've killed hundreds of Time Lords, and then 11's like, Femi, I've killed all of them. But why? And we come to Day of the Doctor, it's like, why?
Well, I think that through the series, you know, and through the reboot, that story was built up as that this was something that he had to do because they were in constant war, and their war was going to destroy the universe.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not clear to me how, and I don't know if this was something even that was introduced during the Time War, because the Time War, you know, in the classic series, there's the Time War. And
I mean, honestly, I haven't really gotten that far. I'm only up to 4 because they're long episodes. I mean,
I know.
There's so many episodes.
They're forever long. You have more
I mean,
patience than I do.
they're like 25 minutes, but still, when you add the amount of episodes per serial, it's just crazy.
Well, they're 20 minutes each, and then
25 minutes. Yeah.
No, is it? They're 20. They're 20.
25.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
The point is that they're just so long, and I mean, of course, the classic series was different, and I mean, I love the homages to classic stuff. Like we see Susan Foreman on a picture of a wall in the gallery.
That was fun seeing her.
That was some great stuff.
Like
we get to see the Brigadier from, I think it was the 7th Doctor's era.
Right.
I'm pretty sure. I saw a little video clip from. I do video clip watching. I just see some other stuff like that, and one of them was the Brigadier. I'm like, oh, that he looks like he's from the 7th Doctor era, because I can tell that he's that old. And also another reference that I saw was when Kate Stewart is talking about, it could be 70s or 80s depending on the time frame. That must be, you know, talking about like, you know, the time frame, the 70s or 80s, like classic series.
Yeah.
I think that was a homage to that.
Oh, of course it was.
Yeah.
Of course it was. I thought that was really fun.
So what do you think?
I mean, I like that reaching back into the past kind of thing and referring to the classics. I do enjoy that. But again, I was not... I felt like this is the episode where, for the very first time, they're focusing on the moment where the Doctor makes this decision.
And it's 50 years of Doctor Who. You
Right,
gotta make a big deal out of it.
But I mean, like, they're focusing on the moment where the Doctor decides to destroy his own people. And if there is a moment, you know, pun intended.
Yeah.
If there's a moment to be really, really clear as to why that decision might need to be made, instead of just a passing reference made by Matt Smith to, well, it'll burn the whole universe, you know. Okay, but I need more explanation for why that is. And I didn't even really feel like in the intervening years that there was enough explanation for, you know, he did this terrible thing and it was because it would have destroyed the whole universe. But there's no, it's not, I need more on that. I mean, because I'm looking at it and going, well, why? It's like they're fighting all the time, and so we'll just kill everybody, and so they won't be fighting anymore. Well, yeah, but then they're all dead.
Another thing that moved me was you know, the War Doctor, where he's like, I lost the right to be called the Doctor.
Yeah.
He must have done something in the war that caused him to just be like, you know what? I don't deserve to be called the Doctor anymore.
Well, he knew what he was gonna do.
Of course. I mean, he explained why.
Right.
And it's like, wow. That's the deep story right there.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That just, you don't expect the Doctor to ever say, I don't deserve to be the Doctor.
Wasn't there a reference to that in another episode where he talked about that wasn't me, I wasn't the Doctor then, or something? That was when I stopped being the Doctor.
I think it was the Night of the Doctor, which I will talk about next week. But honestly,
There's another reference to it too, but it's not a reference to Gallifrey. It's the first time the Doctor takes Amy on a trip, and they go to whatever New Britain, that floating ship.
oh yeah, yeah.
On the back of
Series 5.
yeah,
Below.
the whale, the
Yeah, Space Whale.
space whale, right? Is that what it's called? The space whale?
Yeah.
No, it's called something else.
I don't know. I can't remember.
It's called something else. Anyway, okay, and he said, and he's gonna kill it to
Mhm.
put it out of its misery, and he says, you know, I'm gonna do this terrible thing, and then I won't be able to be called the Doctor anymore. So I don't know if that was supposed to be a little foreshadowing, or if that was like, oh, let's build on that.
Yeah.
You know,
It could be, honestly.
yeah. So I don't know. I guess this time, and this is the second or third time I've seen it, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe this is the third time I've seen it.
I mean,
And I felt like I just, as a writer, I was impatient with the lack of believability, because I feel like it could have been done better, and it made me really wish for oh, come on, who was the original, not the original, but who was our writer in during Nine's time, most of Nine's time, that everybody liked? Yeah, RTD, right?
Mm-hmm.
He could have handled it, I think, a lot better. He is a stronger writer.
Yeah.
Even though there's some Moffat episodes like Silence in the Library that I think are really brilliant. I mean, I really loved Silence, and that was one I think he probably took a lot of time to write it, and that was a great episode. But he wasn't running the show.
The Day of the Doctor, the writing with this, I noticed it in the first. I don't really do a lot of noticing for writing, but I noticed that the story wise, it was just kind of jobbled. I mean, it made sense, but like, it's the way it was written. It just kind of mashed all this stuff in, and like, I mean, it got to the point, yes, but like, it was okay. I mean, I think the great part about this special was the fact that it had, you know, the chemistry between 10 and 11, like the emotions that each of them pulls into each other, that they're arguing about something. It's like, wow, the acting was amazing in that.
It was just fun. It was fun to see them together, and you know, when I was anticipating seeing it in the theater, and I was really psyched for it, and I did feel like that first viewing, and when we went to that cinema event, there were people all around, and that it delivered, because the thing that I was wanting was, oh my gosh, let's see the Doctors together, and let's see Rose Tyler come back, and that was a little disappointing.
That's what I was
right. We were hoping that Rose would come back. I was
so disappointed when like we have Bib Pepper as Rose Tyler, or in the form of Rose Tyler, just standing there, and Ten just like, he just walks by. It's like,
well, he can't see her.
That's the thing. I was like, he wrote it to make it happen. It's like that kind of writing. It's like, that's the reason why I'm kind of glad that Moffat is leaving after next year, because of that. Like he writes the fact that, oh, the Bad Wolf in the form of Rose Tyler. I would have liked him to have written it so that Rose was actually there, and so he would be able to, you know, counter her.
You know what, though? Thinking about it, I can see why he didn't. I mean, it was already kind of a three-ring circus. He had so much stuff going on.
I wanted Nine to come back.
So if he had the love story between Ten and Rose going at the same time as Ten getting married to Queen Elizabeth, as you know, and then Clara's there, and you know, and there's always this little crush going on between Clara and 11, you know, and I think it would be even more distracting, even more confusing to do that. So I see why he decided to say, okay, this is what we're going to do with Billie Piper. But then there's that moment where Ten says, "Did you say Bad Wolf?"
It's like, what?
Yeah, so that was nice. You know, that was kind of a nice moment.
So in terms of like how they could have done it better, what would you have liked? I mean, for me, I know I'm gonna go first. For me, it was if they had somehow made a deal with Christopher Eccleston, who plays the Ninth Doctor.
Yeah.
And he said yes. How would you think it would have gone? And what companions would have, like, if they had written 10 with Donna or Martha, and then have 9 with Rose? Do you think that would have worked? What do you think? Well, what is your
I wouldn't have wanted companion soup. I would have thought that was too much.
or do,
To have all the
anything you
companions.
would think would have changed about it? That you would have liked.
Well, I mean, yeah, it would have entirely changed the script to have him because he would have had to have a role, and he was the person. He was the really angry doctor who had just come out of this experience of
And in
his
terms
planet
of like
burning and-
what do you think you would have liked them to change about the episode?
What, like, okay, I don't know if I would have said, oh, I wish they, I mean, it would have been interesting to have Eccleston there because
Yeah.
it's
I
like,
do
that's
agree.
the reboot, and those are all the doctors, you know, since Gallifrey was destroyed, and so that makes sense that they would all be there. So it was, you know, it's too bad that he didn't say yes, but given that he wasn't able to do it, I think really what I would do if I was like saying, Moffat, please, you know, you got to revise this, that you could make it a lot stronger, is I'd take out the Zygons.
Yeah.
I get it that they're a
Bring them. I mean, they brought them back in series 9, but they put them in here, and it's like what? I mean, they did have for Chris Eccleston. They did have, I think they had I think it was a concept art, was like comic book, and it was like a comic book of what would have, like how the Day of the Doctor would have gone if Chris Eccleston would came back.
Oh, is that right?
Like I think it was a concept art comic book, like here's how the Day of the Doctor would have gone if Eccleston had came back, and it was like him interacting with 10-11. I mean, that would be pretty cool, but I don't know. I mean, that's. I just wish it would have happened.
I mean, yes, I would love to see the three of them interact. That
Yes.
would be really fun to see. But in terms of like having a story, I think that the story would have been much stronger if it focused entirely on the destruction of Gallifrey. Yes or no? I thought that the Zygons were a complete distraction. I liked the idea of like duplicate people and, you know, all of that and who's who, and, you know, that provides some great tension.
The Vortex manipulator from the Captain Jack reference.
Yeah,
That
the
was
vortex
nice.
manipulator. Yeah,
That was
I mean,
cool.
that was fun, but it was another thing that just seems like kind of thrown in. You know, like, oh, they're trying to get the vortex manipulator. Oh, but they don't get it. Well, okay, on to the next thing. You know, it was, and then you know, they solve the problem with the Zygons by saying, now you're not going to remember, you know, which one of you is a Zygon and which, and after that, it's completely dropped.
Yeah.
So there's two of everybody running around, but there's no reference to that through the entire rest of the episode. And I'm thinking, well, that's significant. Like, there are doubles of everyone running around. There's a bunch of dead people, you know, and... But now we're on to the destruction of Gallifrey and the moment and all of that, and we've solved the problem with the Zygons, and so, you know, it was just there for to bring some certain things up. We only brought the Zygons in so that 8.5 would be confronted with the possible destruction of London, and so and we brought them in so that there'd be a reason for 10 to get married to Queen Elizabeth, and we brought them in so that it just, to me, it was like way too much going on. Way too much going on. It needed to be, and I know that this was a show where they needed to put lots and lots of things in that were going to make fans really happy, but it was too many story elements, and I think that you could have thrown in all the fun stuff that people like to see, and all the funny references and all of the, we're going to get all these doctors interacting with each other and all of that.
Which is perfect.
You could do that without having 1,000,001 different story elements. Yeah. It made for a very cluttered story.
Exactly.
So I mean, think
seeing the doctors interact, that was really funny to just see them.
Yeah.
You know,
well, that's always fun.
The
Anytime
chemistry
you got
and
that's really fun.
Like the acting. I mean, especially with John Hurt playing the War Doctor.
Well, it's fun to see John Hurt.
He's a phenomenal actor, and he did just a good job with portraying the War Doctor. I just thought that was perfect. So honestly, what I liked about it was the multi-doctor story, having all the doctors, you know, having, you know, them save Gallifrey, have the Federation doctors, having like the archive footage of all the doctors. That was just insane. I think the really cool thing about the rest of the episode, is, you know, I think the bigger on the inside portraits, that was pretty cool.
That was fun.
That was fun.
And I did like that.
The end credits sequence with all the doctors That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And actually, it's not just like with the end credit sequence with the actual credits, but also when 11 goes out to the area, we have all
Right.
12
I know.
doctors.
I liked that.
That
I
was
liked
really cool. I mean,
liked
of course
that.
they had to like, you know, make them all get actors in costume of each doctor to make them look
Right.
like they were there. But honestly, 50th anniversary, it did pretty well. I just, you know, a bit of a chunky story, just crammed on one. Not bad, because I like multi-doctor stories. I hope
Well,
they do it
you know,
again.
it's Doctor Who, and I guess the fact that it's Doctor Who covers over a multitude of sins.
Yeah.
You know, I'll just keep watching it because it's Doctor Who. But so
I-
this has been fun.
Yeah, I hope that we see a better thing for the 60th anniversary. How would you rate it? Out of 10. Rating system that I would do every week.
6.5.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. It really was flawed as a story.
I give it a 5 out of 10 simply because of...
Wow, even lower than me.
Yeah, because
Because of the ramp, right?
no,
Because the ramp
the
was wrong.
Zygons
And the hair.
the that too, and
Uh-huh.
the sloppy stuff. Moffat didn't do a best.
I've
the best job
convinced
at it.
you, huh?
Yes,
I've
I'm
convinced
sorry,
you
but
about these
5 out
writing
of 10.
problems.
I mean, it was good to have the chemistry of the doctors, but
I'm
like,
giving it a 6.5 because there was really good acting. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
because you had this wonderful cast.
okay, I'll rate you to a 6.
All right.
But yeah.
Wow, I'm the generous
Anyway,
one. Here,
thanks for joining me for this.
yeah,
review.
yeah, this has been a
It's
lot
been
of fun.
awesome. Yeah, it was really fun to hear your opinion on this story. It was really, I mean, it wasn't a bad story. It wasn't. It just
Yeah,
it was
It kinda
it was
was.
weak, you know.
it kind of was a bad
But yeah,
story.
thank you for watching this episode, and thank you for hearing us, you know, talk about what we thought about the episode. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and like this video, and I will see you next time for the next episode. All right, bye.
Bye.